run a family business, including cropping, feedlotting, depoting, and basically a whole family farm. Well, if you don't look after the animals, then you don't have a business. And we obviously, as farmers or as people in the livestock industry, love animals. It's a number one priority for us to make sure that they're well looked after. And we care, and we're real people, and it affects us. And I'm passionate about people realising that we actually care about our animals.
On the telephone, 'cause we've no idea when we're coming home.
And when we get the really small weaners from the stations up north, we pretty much just put them straight out in the paddocks so that they can grow. And then once they get to a certain size or the feed's dropped off, then we'll bring them into the feedlot. The industry is improving massively. The processes that have been put in place has been amazing, and we're constantly trying to improve the welfare of the animals.
I'm Paul Heil. I'm the depot manager here at Reed River Export Depot. It's a brand new facility for getting cattle ready for live export, for receiving cattle and feeding them. The facility here is designed around animal welfare and good flow of animals, less stress, so they flow easy without stress. There's a lot of benefits down the track, not just when you're actually handling the animal at the time. They'll settle down better in their pens, they'll get onto food quicker, and they're not stressed, so they're not spending a lot of time agitated. So when they get into their pens, they'll go over, they'll start eating, they'll walk to the trough and they'll drink. It has a flow-on effect. An hour later, 2 hours later, 2 weeks later, when they get on the ship, the same thing. We also now are very conscious of making sure everything's in their line, so that heavy cattle aren't with light cattle on trucks and on the ship, so there's no bullying in the feed pens here or in the feed pens on the ship. So low stress loading back onto trucks to go to the ship has a flow-on effect once they're on the ship, and everything just continues.
My name's John Mitchell. I own Mitchell's Livestock Transport, which is my 30th year, and our family's been involved servicing the agriculture business industries since 1940. We try and have an input into the planning of the loadouts. Even if we're loading from a feedlot to a processor, all of our customers, we tend to communicate with what we all think is the best way of doing it. The best practice is basically what we're doing now in the industry. It's very well organised, and we have our role in the planning of it. Generally, the preparation's done to the appropriate standard. Everyone just looks after their bit in the supply chain. And no matter what animals we're carting around, we try and have a bit of an influence because of our experience to try and just keep building momentum in terms of lifting the standard and lifting the bar.
So there are a series of regulations that we have to adhere to pre-export, and they range from state, federal and international. State regulation, federal regulation has a lot to do with how the animals are transported, how they're cared for in their registered premise, how they come off farm in terms of sourcing and reject criteria that we have to cover. They cover transport to wharf, they cover loading, all the intricacies of loading the shipment and making sure that you're within correct space, separation, feed requirements, water requirements, air turnover. And then internationally, the regulations to do with health protocol and the requirements those animals have to go through, testing and treating before they're allowed into the country that we're sending them to. I'm exceptionally proud to work in this industry. I've had an amazing career, and it's a really progressive career, and it's very rewarding. There is nothing more rewarding than watching a successful vessel sail to its destination. For young people coming through, there is just so much opportunity in this industry, and we are continually looking for young people to come and join us because it's so rewarding. We are a very dynamic industry, and we are very passionate, and we supply protein across the world. Why wouldn't you want to come and join an industry like that?
we've been in industry since 1998. We have a feedlot in West Java area. It's around about 100 kilometers from Jakarta port. Our feedlot holds around about 32 to 38,000 head of cattle, and mainly we feed them, between 90 to 120, 130 days. With the live animal, mainly it goes to the wet market, whereas the boxed meat, it mainly goes into the processed meat. We employ around about 600 to about 900 for both operational, feedlot and abattoir. I mean, with this 900 people we employ, that's the direct impact, but the indirect impact is actually a lot, because then, it's that 900 people is the one that we employ, but we have to remember that, we also have to bring in feed and then transporting that cattle to our customer. And then the feed we actually buy from all over Java and some from Lampung areas. It helps a lot with the family for those people who that involved in making this industry happening.